Today on Bridge City News, it is the final day of the federal election campaign with the main party leaders all making last-minute pleas in Vancouver. We will tell you about climate activist Greta Thunberg, who made a trip to Fort McMurray for a secret meeting, and yet another pro-democracy protest in Hong Kong turns violent as thousands demonstrate for freedom.
Your nation, your province, your southern Alberta. From the heart of Lethbridge, it's Bridge City News Weekend Edition with Paul Arthur.
Good afternoon. I'm Paul Arthur with the weekend edition of Bridge City News. Multiple suspicious fires on Friday evening kept firefighters in Vulcan County busy. The county did not clarify what types of fires they were, but did issue a statement asking residents to please keep an eye out for questionable activities on township and range roads and to report any irregular activities to the RCMP. No further details have been released at this point. The Southern Alberta Model Railway Club held its fall open house this weekend. It's a fascinating hobby that includes a lot of attention to detail and also makes for a good social outlet. The club meets in their facility at the building located in Gyro Park, just southwest of the hospital. All age groups are welcome to drop in on Tuesday evenings between 7:30 and 9:30 to observe or to join up. Calgary police say a man and a woman are in stable condition in hospital following a police-involved shooting at a military parade. Officers were supporting the parade in the city's downtown yesterday afternoon when a vehicle drove around barriers and headed straight for the parade. Police say officers tried to block the vehicle with a patrol car, at which point they say the vehicle did a U-turn and tried to flee, and that's when an officer fired shots at the vehicle. The two suspects were arrested and taken to hospital. Police say there is no indication at this time of any links to extremist activity. Climate activist Greta Thunberg traveled to Fort McMurray on Friday night and met with the chief of the Athabasca Chippewa First Nation. Alan Adams says his meeting with Thunberg in a Fort McMurray office was arranged earlier this week and was kept secret to prevent pro-oil sands campaigners from disrupting it. Adams says he told the 16-year-old from Sweden that Europeans are major investors in the oil sands and she needs to get people to lobby those investors for greener technology to extract Alberta energy. A recall of more than 800 beef and veal products sold across Canada has had another 50-plus items added to it, with Whole Foods the latest grocery chain affected. The Canadian Food Inspection Agency is investigating a possible E. coli contamination in some products sold by Toronto-based companies Riding Regency Meat Packers and St. Anne's Foods. Potentially contaminated products were also sold at Walmart, Pusateri's, and other retailers across Canada. As the second wave of pot products such as edibles and vapes becomes legal in Canada, the former chair of the Federal Cannabis Legalization Task Force says there are yellow flags veering to red on vaping. Yesterday marked the one-year anniversary of legal recreational pot, and Anne McClellan says the past 12 months have gone extremely well, but she says the growing number of vaping-related lung illnesses on both sides of the border is giving her pause. There are now more than 1,400 reported cases and 33 deaths in the U.S. and several cases in Quebec and BC. Well, the final day of the election campaign before tomorrow's vote has the federal party leaders making a final attempt to woo BC voters. Conservative leader Andrew Scheer is spending the day in Vancouver, hoping to swing some tight ridings to the blue side.
Now, with polls opening in just a matter of hours, let me be blunt. A Trudeau-led government with the NDP calling the shots would be the worst possible outcome for Canadians. It would be the coalition that Canadians cannot afford. Because we can only imagine what the NDP's price would be to keep Justin Trudeau in power. Whatever it is, we know Trudeau would pay it. He would pay any price to stay in power, and he'd use your money to do it. It's the costly coalition that Canadians cannot afford. Not now, not at a time when everything is already getting more expensive, and when so many Canadians are barely making it to the end of the month without the money running out. Now, we already know that a Trudeau NDP coalition would run a $40 billion deficit in year one. Don't just take my word for it. That's right out of their platforms. It's right there for all Canadians to see. But I've spent the last 39 days traveling this great country, making the case for a Conservative majority government. A government with a plan that will help you get ahead. We're going to scrap the Trudeau carbon tax, which will the carbon tax which makes everyday essentials more expensive, like gasoline, groceries, and home heating. We're going to take the GST off of home heating costs. We're going to introduce the universal tax cut and bring back tax credits the Trudeau government cut for parents who put their children in sports, math, language, or arts programs. We're going to make maternity benefits tax-free. We're going to increase the age credit to help seniors. And we will boost the government matching contributions to RESPs by 50%.
Taking his campaign west in the final hours before Monday's election, Justin Trudeau used a midnight rally in Calgary and appearances today in BC to argue that all provinces need to elect Liberals and be represented in the national government he hopes to lead.
I know that there are thousands upon thousands upon thousands of progressive Albertans who do not feel that Jason Kenney speaks for them. We need to make sure that in Ottawa we have progressive Alberta voices building a government that reflects the values of Alberta and our entire country. The message has been clear that we need a progressive government to keep fighting, not a progressive opposition. Canadians need to come together. And we just got a very clear reminder of that last night in Quebec, where the Bloc Québécois came out and said that its number one priority is separation, is dividing the country once again. Not even the fight against climate change, not even to stop conservative cuts, but to revive old debates that we move past. We need to work together. I am a proud grandson of BC, but I'm also a son of Quebec, and we are going to fight hard together to focus on the big fight we all have against climate change and building a better future for everyone.
Meanwhile, NDP leader Jagmeet Singh reached out to young voters in Vancouver today as part of a final push for support. Singh said young people tell him they often feel ignored by political parties.
We need to make sure that everyone feels engaged in politics, everyone feels engaged in decision making. And young people have often been ignored and have often been kind of put to the side. And one of the things that I realized throughout our campaign and throughout my life is that you've got to speak to people where they are. And wherever they are, if you can speak to them and find them and you have a message that can actually make their life better, then use that platform. And so for me, it's been an important thing because young people have so much passion and energy, and they can do so much if they're activated and engaged. And for me, it's been really important to make sure young people are engaged, that they do feel like they matter. And speaking to people where they are is a way of saying, hey, I respect you, I value you, and I want your input, and I want you to be involved. And that's been really important for us. When it comes down to divisions, I think divisions are inflamed when people are insecure or afraid. And economic insecurity breeds divisions. So when people are stable in their lives, have a good job that pays for all their necessities, where they can live a good life and take care of their kids and their families, they can afford their bills, there's good health care for them, people are more secure and will not be divided. And so the division we're seeing, I believe, is a result of economic insecurity. The fact that more than half of Canadians report that they are in a really tough way, that they're just on the edge of not being able to pay their bills, and that they're worried about the future. And all these worries and fears create divisions, or worries and fears allow others to come in and to divide us based on things that are not the reason for the problems.
And Green Party leader Elizabeth May is making a last-ditch appeal for electoral reform. She told supporters in Vancouver the current voting system in Canada is not just flawed, it's dangerous. She says it allows someone to get 100% of the power with very little of the popular vote. May promised to bring in proportional representation and to give 16-year-olds the right to vote. Liberal leader Justin Trudeau promised to reform the electoral system when he was campaigning for office in 2015, but then he abandoned the pledge, calling it too complicated. In Hong Kong, pro-democracy protesters have again flooded the streets, ignoring a police ban on today's rally. The demonstrators set up barricades and tossed firebombs at police, who responded with a barrage of tear gas. Protest leaders carried a black banner that said 5 main demands, not one less, as they pressed their demands for greater accountability and more political rights. A new variety of apple could be coming to a grocery store near you in the not-too-distant future. It's called the Cosmic Crisp, and it's expected to be a game changer. The apple, crafted by Washington State University, is called Cosmic Crisp because of the bright yellowish dots on its skin, which look like stars in the night sky. It's a cross between disease-resistant Enterprise and the popular crunchy Honeycrisp varieties. Recapping one of our top news stories, multiple suspicious fires on Friday evening kept firefighters in Vulcan County busy. The county did not clarify what types of fires they were, but is asking residents to report any questionable activities to police. And a reminder that Bridge City News will be live with our election coverage on Monday night beginning at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. Viewers can also live stream Your Vote 2019 on our Facebook page, Miracle Channel's website, and also on YouTube. And a look at weekend weather. Partly cloudy tonight with a 30% chance of showers this evening and a low of -1. For tomorrow, a mix of sun and cloud with a west wind gusting from 40 to 60 and a high of 10 degrees. As we wrap up the final day of the federal election campaign, Hal Roberts has been chatting with all of the local Lethbridge candidates. Stephanie Watson is the Green Party representative, and that interview is coming up next. But first, here's a look at what's happening in and around your community.
Here's your Bridge City News Community Calendar. Do you enjoy helping others in our community? Volunteers are needed in Lethbridge and Medicine Hat to support adults participating in local AHS recreation and leisure programs. AHS is looking for those who will provide guidance and encouragement to people taking part in aquatics, walking to wellness, and expressive arts. To learn more about this opportunity, call 403-388-6311 or apply online at albertahealthservices.ca. Men, young and old alike, are invited to come join the Lethbridge Christian Men's Choir. Practices are held every Thursday from 7:30 to 9 p.m. at Trinity Reformed Church. The choir practices are in preparation for Christmas and spring concerts, as well as occasional performances at the hospital and seniors' homes. For more information, call 403-328-7985. And that's your Bridge City News Community Calendar.